Hey, it's Brian from Mighty Startup, and we're doing another viewer Q&A today. And as you guys know, I'm here to help you start your supplement business, your health product business, your food business the right way, and help you navigate FDA and FTC requirements. So here's today's question. What are some of the problems you've encountered with manufacturers? Well, I can tell you with my 18 years of experience and growing that there are a lot of issues that I've seen with manufacturers across the board. And I'm talking about manufacturers that not are just the small ones, but well-established manufacturers that are working with really large brands. They have their issues, they have their baggage. I'm going to share you some big things or common things that I've seen that actually shocked me when I started in the business and continues to shock me because this industry has been around for a long time, and a lot of these manufacturers that we see over and over again in our Google search or that I come across with my clients, they have issues. What are some examples? Well, the first one, a lot of you are looking to the contract manufacturer for expertise, right? It's a turnkey model. You go and you put your order in and you're expecting a compliant product on the way out. Sometimes I'm brought in by a manufacturer to help them out. I realize how poorly trained the regulatory departments are, the compliance departments are, and it's really hurt a lot of brands as a result. Two examples for you. Some manufacturers, they don't formulate for the long term. They're formulating for you to get the lowest price, right? So that you'll bite and buy their inventory. And so what they do is they put in the minimum amount for them to pass testing, and that's it, which to a certain degree makes sense, right? But if you decide to put a best before date on your product, that means you're saying that your product is going to be fresh for the next year, 2 years, or however long your best before date is. Well, unfortunately, a lot of the R&D departments that these manufacturers have, they're not accounting for that. And they're scared to tell you because they're scared that the prices will, as a result, increase and scare you off, which I don't think is right. I think they should just give you both options. Like, here's the price that we can offer you if you just want your product as is. And then here's the price that I can give you if you want this product to last for 2 years, right? I think that's really important for them to educate their clients on, their customers on, such as yourself. A lot of the R&D people do not do that. And they're just focused on getting that testing, passing that testing, that immediate testing right off the line. The other example I have for you is with regards to this poor regulatory training or expertise is that I've seen some manufacturers not catch packaging requirements. And these are things where it's so violative, right? These requirements, these laws in place have not been accounted for, and it actually led to product recalls. And the problem here is that a lot of the regulatory compliance expertise is so focused on ingredients, on finished product testing, and they forget about the packaging itself, the bottles, the lids, the seals. And if that's not done right, there are other laws in place outside of FDA that says that your product is violative and you're now in recall territory. And I've seen that, and I've seen them from fairly large or medium-sized contract manufacturers that you would expect to have that expertise. And unfortunately, they don't. Another example that I've come across, and this one is a big one with manufacturers, is I've seen salmonella and listeria outbreaks in manufacturing facilities. And this is a hard situation to get out of. Once salmonella or listeria is throughout the facility, I can tell you that can spread all over the place, and it's really hard to clean. And you have to realize that we can't see these things, right? So you're doing a ton of testing, you're shutting down the production line, you're cleaning over and over again, you're testing as you're running again. You can't just clean and then start. It's a very stepwise process. Lots of swabbing, lots of testing, finished product, as well as environmental swabbing. So this is where you swab the line after you clean it, and then during production runs, etc., to make sure that the salmonella is actually addressed and removed. Same with listeria. Unfortunately, a lot of this contamination, it's either hidden, it's hard to actually clean, and in some cases, you just have to throw out the entire equipment, or the facility is pretty much abandoned. It's crazy how bad it can be. In the bodybuilding or the fitness space, especially in the supplement space there's a lot of focus on potency, right? Like, am I getting the right amount of vitamin C that the product says it has? Am I getting the right amount of creatine in the product that it says it has? So there's a lot of focus on potency, but there's very little talk or even concern or attention about basic safety, such as your pathogen and microbial testing, right? There's a lot of testing about chemicals and pesticides. There's talk about that and attention to that, but there's very little talk about Salmonella, Listeria, E. coli, etc., which are the big reasons why there's all these food recalls out there and people getting sick and some people having been hospitalized because of it. We want to build in the right specifications for these pathogens, for these microbial hazards, and there are manufacturers out there that don't understand what parameters are needed for your product specification based on the ingredients, based on the finished product. And again, this is something that I work with my clients to make sure that your product can be properly tested. But also remember, this can be used as a defense. I mean, if the facility for some reason had an outbreak, if you've got strong product specifications, strong testing as a result, you can prove to an agency and say, well, regardless of what happened at the facility, my product is safe because X, Y, Z. Here's all the things that we've done. All right, let's move on. There are a lot of manufacturers that don't have finished product specifications, and this is essentially a document that just tells you what are all the parameters a finished product needs to have and what they should be tested for. And this is required by law, by regulation, by FDA, okay? It says you need specific tests of purity, potency, identity, right? Safety and composition of your product. And these parameters have to be set by someone who's qualified to determine them. And if you don't know what a product specification is, be sure to watch one of my other videos where I go into the definition of what that is, or what a spec is, a C of A, etc. I really recommend that you watch. It's just to educate yourself on the lingo of the industry. And so FDA has audited a whole bunch of manufacturers, and one of the most common findings is that they don't have finished product specifications. I mean, if you don't have finished product specifications, what are you testing your finished product against, right? What test parameters are you using? One day, maybe you're testing for Salmonella, another day you're testing for potency, and another day you're testing for heavy metals. It's very inconsistent, or maybe the levels of what is considered passing isn't properly established. And I've seen that before as well, where in the product specification, there is no limit. They just report the value, whatever it is. And that's really concerning. So that's a big problem. And when I'm working with my clients, one of the things I look at is whether they have product specifications established. And a lot of the times they're like, whoa, what is that? Right? And so right away we move into working with the manufacturer. And it's weird to me that a manufacturer isn't telling their clients, hey, you need a product specification. Let's hammer this out together. Some manufacturers don't even know how to build them out properly. And they use like a template for all products, which is not the right way to do it. And so again, that's where I step in with the clients and help them build a product specification that's unique to their product and their ingredients. Hopefully I didn't scare you from all manufacturers. That's the point. The point is that these are just some of the common problems I've seen. Not all manufacturers like this, of course, but it's important that you're properly vetting them for this. And it's also important that you bring someone along from your side that represents you from a quality standpoint. This is where I help my clients do exactly that, because I'm watching out for my client, that extra set of eyes and ears to help buffer them from some of these issues. And when we rely solely on our manufacturer, especially when we don't have the expertise to know what a good manufacturer is from a bad manufacturer, they could easily sway us one way or the other. Whereas someone like myself, having that compliance expertise, have been in a lot of factories and facilities, will know if the manufacturer is good or not, if they're stringing us along, if they're telling us some story just to, as an excuse. That's where we come in and really protect the brand and help you find that right manufacturer. Hopefully this gives you some ideas of the types of problems I've encountered. This is just a very, 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 very small snapshot, but it gives you a sense of what's out there. I'm going to leave it there. If you have a question that you'll let me answer, throw it down in the comment section down below. Cheers.